Hi everybody, it's Richard. Thanks for joining me today for my second video ever. I am making a Christmas card, kind of a different look to it. I'm using the Sizzix Tim Holtz Thinlits, these as atomic elements. I am using Neat and Tangled Scandinavian Prince Christmas. I'm using the Stampers Anonymous Christmas Classic stamps. I'm using this very, very old petite paper pack from Lawn Fawn. This was released in 2012, so it's probably not available, but I'm sure that there's similar things on the market right now, including other things from Lawn Fawn. I have some scraps. I've got some cardstock from my stash, and we're going to make a card. So before we get started, I just wanted to show you this little thing that I do with my Thinlits. So when you get your Thinlits, they come in this little pouch, and they're jingling around in the pouch. And that's a fine way to store them. That pouch is really strong, and you're going to get good success with it. But I like my dies on a magnet. So what I've done is, and I want it to fit in this pouch, so you have to like finagle them and jostle them around till you get them all onto the magnet sheet. But once they're there and they fit, and you know they're going to fit, I take the whole magnet sheet with the dies on it and carry it over to my copier. I lay it face down on the copier and copy the whole thing, gently flip it back over and back, and then I can take the copy paper, put it down on top of the magnet sheet, and I have a perfect map of where everything needs to go. And when you have a lot of dies like this, you really get the benefit of knowing that something's gone rogue. You can see everything laid out in front of you. Gosh, I mean, how easy would it be for, this tiny little thing to go missing? And you don't know about it, but if you have this map on your magnet sheet, you know where it's supposed to be there. So I'm going to use 3 of these dies today, and we're going to make a card. So the first thing I want to do is sort of figure out my design, and so I cut this piece of 6x6 paper down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to make it the entire card front. I'm not going to cut this down any further. I want to use this Christmas Christmas cheer. I think that's very festive. I like to be cheerful at Christmas. I think it's a good time for people to be cheerful. I'm going to use this boomerang, and I want to do something to get the whole boomerang without interfering with the Christmas. So I'm going to do we're going to try some stamping to see if this works. This is going to lay on top of it in a little sparkle. And then this one is going to sort of give us a little burst here. So it's going to be sort of, I don't know, contemporary meets atomic age meets Christmas. So there we go. So that's my plan. So first thing I want to do is stamp. Actually, you know what? The first thing I want to do, I think, let's get these out of the way. The first thing I want to do is to cut my boomerang, because I know I'm going to want to stamp on it. And so here's my big shot. Make sure I've got everything on the frame here. You guys, thank you so much for joining me for this second video of mine. Hopefully this will work out. I was gifted by my wonderful husband one of the wonderful Archon Crafters mounts that's got the place for your iPad and your camera. I have tried a couple different mounting methods, and they just didn't work for me. This is substantial. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't bounce around. I've had that problem before. You know what? While I'm cutting, I'm going to cut everything else. So this is going to be for one part. This will be for the little starburst. Okay. So that goes here. This goes here. This paper's a little bendy. I know I cut you to fit. There we go. Let's get some purple tape. Thermoweb purple tape. One of the best things out there for holding without, and I like to go twice on shiny paper because you don't know if it's cut through. Whoops. Okay, that star definitely cut. And I see piece that cut. I like to check before I put things away. All right. So, I'll put some of these things to the side here. Let's stamp. So, I've already got this place for the inside of my card. All right, I've taken the foam sheet out of my MISTI because I'm sorry for the glare. I promise it won't be for long. In fact, let's see if we can help. Let's just stick that for now. That'll help. Got my designer paper in here. I'm going to place this Christmas where I think I want it. This tree is sort of giving me fits. I definitely want to clear that. So let's say Christmas is going to be here. I'm going to close my door and just see that we've got some sort of mostly line up with the lettering. Let's put that down just ever so slightly. Having that grid in there is so helpful. I'm going to take the cheer off for a minute. We'll go back and I'm going to kind of snug that up even a little tighter. So make sure that's on my door. I have gone in with my swatch ring. I do this for all of my inks, and I kind of get them in mostly rainbow order. I kind of go from coolest to warmest on all my colors. I did go through and just sort of see what matched this red the closest to what I have. This has just a touch of orange to it, even though it's something pretty pure. Just kind of an orangey browny red. So I'm going to stamp in this one, which is the Gina K Red Velvet ink, and I have the little cube for that. I think I'm gonna emboss this. I did not get that out, so that may slow me down for a second here. Let's go, because I think the embossing is gonna help when I get to my boomerang, and we're gonna see that in a minute. So I'm inking this up. I don't think I'm probably on screen right now. Inking this up really well. I like to hit everything a couple times. Do my little, everybody likes to do this move where you just kind of make sure that's slid into the corner. Kind of keeps you from having to use your magnets every single time. As long as you know you're hitting this spot. Lots of pressure, lots of pressure. How'd we do? Pretty. I'm going to do this again because I want it darker. Again, make sure it's in the corner. We love our MISTI. We're hitting things more than once. I don't know what we ever did without it, but glad we don't have to anymore. I am going to place my boomerang right now where I think that needs to be. And you know what, kids? I think we just changed our design. I don't think I need to stamp on this at all. So I like that. I think that's going to be fine. And I think, let's just grab this. Come out of here. I'll get the little pieces out in a second. So that'll fit. And the other thing doesn't matter anyway, so. But let's see. Oh, yeah. That works for me. So we can take this all out of here. I'm going to clean my stamp really quickly with my Lawn Fawn chamois. Get that nice and clean. And with the red, you really want to go at it. I will sometimes hit that with stamp cleaner, but I think today we're going to be okay. I'm going to grab my Versamark sticky ink pad, which makes me glad I went and hit it with my powder bag to get all of the static and grease and everything. Not that it should be greasy paper, but again, push it back in the corner, stamp that down. Lots and lots of nice pressure. Boom, it looks shiny. I think that's a pretty good cover. I'm going to turn on my heat tool. Sorry for the noise, you know what that sounds like. Coat this with this Ranger Clear embossing powder. I just switched to this one and I think the shine on it is just wonderful. The last one I was using I was not so impressed with. I'm not going to tell you who that was. And then let's heat it up. Hit the back first. Just being pattern paper, it's probably going to work pretty well, but that's what glue is for. Ooh, the magic of embossing powder. So we'll just melt this till it's nice and shiny in all places. You tip it into the light to see where you are. Start to go a little bit more. Don't overheat it because you'll lose your shine. And that looks beautiful. It looks so professional when you have embossing powder on things. Okay, so moving along. I have to stamp the cheer, and I hadn't really made. I need magnets now because I got a little warpy. Let's see. That'll work. So let's put this cheer on here. I was going to do that in green, but so close to that tree I don't know that I want the green. Let's take our Christmas off. Sometimes I don't even clean my stamps after Versamark, but it's probably a good idea. So let's do that. Let's see. I don't like the way that's sitting. Okay. Let's do this in white embossing powder, shall we? All right, let's make sure that's nice and straight. Lines going through the E's and the top of the H, so that tells me that it's straight. Go right to the Versamark on this one. Again, our sticky ink. You know what? It's because I did all this work already and I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to hit this again with my powder bag. Don't want too much powder. And now we'll flip this over and just give it a good press. Don't need to go nuts on this. It's just letters. You don't want to push probably too hard, I think is possible. Heat tool back on. And we're going to go for some white. I think this is Hero Arts white. I'm bad at labeling things. I will get better at it because I know people want to know what you use. I hope this shows up on this light color. We're going to see. Get my tool. Let's see what happens here, kids. This might be a little light. You know what? It's subtle, but it's there, and that's going to work for me. I think it's fine. I like it. Not just fine. It's not just good enough, it's actually good. I'm going to, this is for later for my insert. You know what, since we're stamping and we have the MISTI out, let's go ahead and stamp our inside. I'm doing Merry Wishes on here. I've already lined this up. This has been cut for my insert. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and I am using Pine Feather dye ink from Paper Tray Ink. This is a really, really dark piney Christmas green, and I really like this. And that stamped beautifully, but you know, the thing about that dark pine green is that it's a dark pine green, and we really want to see that. So that's wonderful. Okay, and then to just sort of kick this up a little bit, I've used this tree from Neat and Tangled Scandinavian Prince Christmas, and this is 2 pieces. The stump is separate from the tree, and I was thinking we might do just a little. You know what? I might put this aside. I don't need it. I think that's nice and clean. I think that looks good. We're gonna say thank you, but no to that. Although I do like that stamp set. If I had offset this, I would have probably had a better chance with that. But Okay, so this, boy, that looks beautiful on its own. I put something sparkly on there and slap it on a card and send it on its way, but we're gonna do more. So that's a symbol here. So we decided this was gorgeous like this, yeah. You know what, this is kind of wobbly for me. So what I'm gonna do is get it on my card base because I'm not doing anything further to that background. So this is pine feather cardstock. I'm talking and I'm trying to remember what I'm doing. So this 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's going to be my card base. Y'all, let me ask you something. As careful as you are at cutting and scoring, and oh, I hate it when that happens. I still have to jiggle things. I think, like, people think they're measuring really well. People don't. I mean, different manufacturers measure different things. So this is going to go on here. And I think I'm going to have to trim that. I hate this. I have tried so many things. Let's see if we can just flip this. You know what? I normally like the channel on the inside, but it cracked. So I'm going to take my bone folder. You know, sometimes no matter how you score or burnish with your, I like to use my stylus rather than a bone folder for making the channel. Just because, look at my bone folder. This is a Teflon bone folder, and this kind of messed up, and that's really from sticking it into the channel on that Score Buddy. I won't make a card without my Score Buddy, but I also spend like $18 on a stick for my Teflon bone folder, so I definitely want to keep that in good shape. Okay, so I'll have to trim this when we're done, but I really don't want to be messing with this while it's a little warped. So take some liquid glue. This, you guys, is Reptile glue. I just found this. It was recommended on YouTube to me by the Posh Paper Lady. She uses it for her projects, and it's really very reasonably priced. It is clear and matte. I've been playing with it just for a couple of days now. I absolutely love this. It doesn't warp your paper. It doesn't do anything crazy to you. It gives you that time to maneuver things. And 4 ounces, I think, were 4 ounces. It's a big bottle, 4 ounces. Was $7. I think it was even less than that. It might have been like $5. But anyway, good stuff. Try it. I found it on Amazon. Reptile glue. Okay, so let's start placing things here. We're gonna take our, oh, there's that magnet I was looking for. It was holding all of my dies together. I'm gonna take my little pokey tool and I'm gonna get all this stuff out of here. You know what, just for the sake of time, let me just get the star out of here. Oh, well, I gotta poke it out anyway. So, pokey. Sometimes I take a little bowl, just so stuff isn't all over my desk. Am I on camera? I'm gonna severely surprise myself when I play this back. I may be putting music over it too. Isn't that beautiful? It's got a little shine to it, just enough shine, and I think it really coordinates nicely with that. So, look, so that's gonna go there. And then I've got my little starburst, and that'll go here. What do we think, kids? Good? Are we happy? I might play with that just a little bit. Yeah. I like that. Okay. This is so skinny. I'm gonna bring in, I just ordered a silicone mat to work with these sticky sort of things. Instead, I've got my very well loved grid sheet. I'm gonna grab, this is the Lawn Fawn glue, and the reason I'm grabbing this one over the reptile glue at this moment is because it's got just a little bit of smaller nozzle. I have just a refillable bottle filled with the reptile glue. It does come with a big nozzle on it. That's the only downside to that product. So I'm just going to get some glue really just there in the middle, because that's what I really need to concentrate on. And then let's see where we like. I think I want a little more pokey over here. Oops, let's get you back in frame. I should not be doing this on the card front. Disaster awaits, right? We all know. Okay, I wanted this little ball to be off this. So I'm going to hit that like this. Oh, I just love this. And this glue also will dry clear and matte and not going to mess up the shine on my shimmer paper. And then this one just needs a little dot of glue. I'm going all over the place back and forth with my glues. And let's see. This one I am going to sort of maneuver on here. Okay, so we've got this. I'm going to pop this up in just a second here. I really want this to, I think that's a good spot. Oh, I really like that. Because it just, and I purposely chose this sort of very subtle sparkle instead of doing two of the chunky, right? So, we're almost there. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to grab a hunk of 3M foam tape from my giant roll. Again, thank you to Amazon. Take this off. And I'm not going to press down right away because I want to be able to play for a second. Make sure, you know what, that dropped. No, it's just a little low for what I want. I really want this starburst to sort of be part of this. See, ever so slightly, so. And that's the thing, that's really the thing I want straight, so that's straight up and down. And we're gonna just kind of give that a little pressure. You guys, that's the outside of the card. Cute, right? I don't think I am gonna trim that actually. You know what? I just realized I did this in a portrait style, and I've got a landscape card. We're gonna have to do that again. I'm gonna do that off camera. This is my card. I hope you enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate your being here. These videos, of course, as I go along, are bound to get better. So please give me another look here and there. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks for stopping by. All best. Bye-bye.